So this video was unplanned, but it had to be said. I really started thinking how important emotional intelligence is for everybody. Not a gender thing, so let's not start this again, but how important it is for everybody. Now, emotional intelligence refers to the skill to understand and manage your own feelings, plus recognize and influence the emotions of others. It's basically you being self-aware of your own emotions and how you are impacting other people. A lot of people in this world, in my opinion, do not really understand what emotional intelligence is or even possess it, and it's not necessarily their fault. It could be their upbringing, it could be a multitude of factors, but truly, I don't believe a lot of people have mastered emotional intelligence. I don't feel like I'm the complete best at it, but I try. I'm gonna give you guys a few scenarios in which emotional intelligence is crucial. Let's start off in your family. So when you have conflicts in your family, which will happen where somebody's disagreeing, somebody's pointing something you did wrong, if you don't have the emotional intelligence and somebody tries to correct you on something, like your parents, your siblings, somebody tries to correct you or tell you what you're doing wrong, you'll get defensive, you might try to fight back with them, and you won't try to make the situation better. Now, people might say, oh, well, you're just being inconsiderate and selfish. But emotional intelligence really ties into a lot of this as well. It's kind of like an umbrella term for a lot of things, like self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, etc. Another scenario could be if you're in a friend group and there seems to be conflict between all of you guys, especially when they're mixed gender or whatever, or like there's a lot of there's a lot of clashing of personalities or whatever the case may be. Let's say you're in this friend group and something happens and you guys start fighting, or something happens where you have to de-escalate the conflict between you two, you three, you four. You have to know how to do that. So somebody who lacks emotional intelligence may start using this as a way to gossip, as a way to divide the friendship further, and to put themselves in it in a certain way, to manipulate the situation, and just might even back out of it completely. In this scenario, somebody who has emotional intelligence will try to sit everybody down and just have a heart-to-heart and talk with everybody, and for everybody to share their side of it and try to come to a mutual agreement of what, calmly, not aggressively, of what went wrong and what's happening. I know comments might roll in like, well, we don't do this stuff, we don't do heart-to-heart, we don't open up about emotions. It's not about opening up and being vulnerable necessarily, it's about solving issues where something happened that causes the least amount of damage. And if you are afraid of emotions or think they're bad, are you human? This could be twisted in whatever way people would like, but it's true. We all have emotions and we need to stop acting like they're so bad and it's something we need to run from. When I start feeling things like when I feel anxiety, but I feel that a lot, okay? I'm like, oh, great. I try to almost fight against it, but I saw somewhere just let it ride the wave, let it happen and it'll pass. And I've come up with strategies for that. I can make a whole other video, but yeah, so back to that friend group situation, just calmly talk to everybody without aggression, without name calling, without trying to divide the group further. And again, the same could go with relationships. So the next one would be relationships, and in relationships, this one could be very tough because a lot of the times relationships might break apart because of this issue, because of a lack of communication and consideration and all that stuff. So for example, in a relationship, it is really important, even in a friendship and in families and everywhere, to be considerate of people and to really watch how you say things. I'm not saying you have to walk on eggshells with people, but just be careful how things could be interpreted, but don't overthink it too much, because I'm guilty of that and it's not good. But try to realize how what you say could come across, and try not to say things when you're angry. And I know that a lot of us are guilty of, when we're upset, we just rant or go off or whatever, but sometimes we just need a reset and we need to just tone it down and ground ourselves before we start addressing the situation. In relationships, it could be tough because there are some people that don't really believe in this. I will be honest, I feel like there are some people that don't believe in this and think that this is just BS and it's just for certain groups of people. But no, that's actually a big reason I feel why people complain about relationships, or why they it doesn't work sometimes, because of this lack of awareness, lack of consideration sometimes, and even just a lack of managing things. And sometimes people will find themselves in situations, and again, not making this a gender thing, where one person is overly considerate, or one person is overly selfless, or one person is overly aware of everything, and it could further divide you guys in the relationship when you're supposed to be a team. Next, we got the workplace. Same could be said with the friendship and relationships. You guys see how this all ties in together? It is important to make sure in situations, and this is kind of like my general conclusion, when you're in situations with anybody, okay, make sure you guys consider how they feel. Put yourself in their shoes, okay? Put yourself in their shoes. try to drop your ego, because a lot of it could be ego, insecurity, and superiority, I can't say this word sometimes, superiority complex all in one. Wanting to be right, wanting to be right is like part of it. Please do not let your ego, your need to be right, and your need to take control of everything, don't let that be more important than how you are affecting people. And I'm not saying that people should get mad over everything, and I know sometimes things could be a little bit over dramatic or exaggerated, but like, you have to remember, when you care about people, okay, because you should care about your friends, family, relationship, and maybe even coworkers, you need to really consider them. Again, this maybe the title should be consideration at this point, but really, consideration ties into all of this. And remember, when you have your own feelings and emotions towards things, please, I beg you, please do not take it out on people, because that's just going to perpetuate this cycle of anger, and then you're going to hurt somebody, and then they're going to hurt somebody else, and then they're going to, like, someone needs to break that. So for example, if that starts to happen, somebody who's emotionally intelligent will break that and be like, I got hurt, but doesn't mean I'm going to go hurt other people now, which I think is a big issue we have in society, of people passing on the hurt and the hatred. You know what I'm saying? That is all for my video. Hopefully you guys learned something from this, and let me know down below what you want to add to this discussion. If you've been in situations where you felt like there was emotional intelligence lacking in people, in yourself even. And yeah, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys when I can. Bye guys.